In today's video, I'm going to be showing you how I make Dragonfly Granny Square. The square itself is made up of one solid piece, and I use 2 different yarns to make this. And then I do 4 separate pieces of the wings, each wing segment being identical to the other ones. So this piece is going to work up pretty quickly. It's pretty straightforward, and the results, in my opinion, are really pretty great. Let me give a warm welcome to all my Weaving Wyrd siblings, weirdlings, and just plain fun people. For those of you who aren't in the know, my name is Sig. I'm a retired tattoo artist turned active fiber artist and crocheter. And here on my channel, you and I get to create a little magic with every knot. So don't forget to hit the subscribe and like buttons. This doesn't cost you anything, but it does help me provide you with regular tutorials featuring original designs, classic patterns, and lacy motifs. I'm always interested in your feedback, so feel free to leave your comments and questions below. So for this project, you'll need 3 yarns. The first yarn I'm using is going to be a size 3 weight. And this one's a little smaller than the other yarns I'm using in terms of weight, because this is what I am using for the wings. Now this particular yarn is from Premier. It's an anti-pilling. It's called Everyday Dots. And the colorway is confectionary. The next yarn I'm using is by Stylecraft. It's their Impressions collection. Now this is an Aran weight, but here in the US, we would consider this like a good solid 4 weight yarn. And the colorway of this yarn is Grand Canal. Also, I have another Stylecraft yarn, and this yarn is called Special Aran. So again, it's going to be basically a good solid 4 weight. And the colorway of this yarn is called Duck Egg. Now all 3 of these yarns is 100% acrylic. You can use whichever yarn or colorway that suits your purposes. Just make sure you use the appropriate sized hook. Now, the dimensions I'm giving you today are for basically a 4 weight or an Aran weight yarn and a 3 weight yarn. Next, I will be using 2 different sized hooks. Now for the wings, which I'm making from the weight 3 yarn, the Everyday Dots, I'm going to be using a size 5, also known as a 3mm hook. And then for the Aran weight yarn, or solid 4 weight yarn if you prefer, I'm going to be using a 7.5 hook, or rather a 4.5mm hook. Now both these hooks are a little bit smaller than what the yarn itself recommends, but that's okay. I personally like a tighter stitch. If you would like a looser stitch, then you're going to want to make those adjustments according to your needs. Last but not least, you will want a tapestry needle or a yarn needle. Probably a yarn needle for this one will work better, but if all you have is a tapestry needle, that'll work fine too. And then, of course, a pair of scissors. I'm first going to start off with the wings, and what I want to do is make 4 of these. I'm going to begin by making a slip stitch. And then I'm going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. And then what I'm going to do is in that very first chain, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to double crochet right in that stitch. Then I'm going to turn my work, and for row 2, I am going to chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then I'm going to double crochet right into the 3rd chain of that first 3 chains from round 1. Next, I'm going to turn my work, and I'm going to begin row 3. For row 3, I'm going to chain 3, 1, 2, and 3. Then I'm going to double crochet twice into that chain 2 space. Next, I'm going to place a double crochet into the 3rd chain from that 2nd row. This is what my piece looks like so far. Yours should look something similar. Next, I'm going to turn my work. I'm going to begin row 4. And I'm going to start this by making a chain of 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then in my next double crochet, I'm going to make a single crochet. And I'm going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. And then I'm going to single crochet in the next double crochet. Next, I'm going to chain 2. 1, 2. And then I'm going to double crochet in the top of chain 3 from row 3. So just right in there. So this is what my work looks like so far. Next, I'm going to turn my work and I'm going to start row 5. And for row 5, I'm going to chain 5 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then I'm going to place a double crochet right here into this middle chain 3 space. And then I'm going to double crochet again into that same space. Next, I'm going to chain 2, 1 and 2. And then I'm going to come and I'm going to double crochet into the 3rd chain right here from row 4. Can turn my work. For row 6, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to chain 5 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now this time I'm going to treble crochet right here in between the 2 double crochets. I'm going to chain 1 and then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to treble crochet into that same space right there between the 2 double crochets from row 5. Next, I'm going to chain 5 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Then I'm going to slip stitch in the 3rd chain from row 5. So now I have this. I'm going to chain 1. And I'm going to single crochet twice in this next open space. So 1, 2. I'm going to single crochet twice again in the next open space. 1, 2. Chain twice again in the next open space. 1, 2. And then one more time in the next open space. Going to be 1 and 2. Now I have my last little space right down here. It comes to kind of a point right here between these 2 double crochets. And I'm going to single crochet 5 in that space. So I've got 2, 3, 4, and 5. Next, I'm going to single crochet twice in the next space, and then twice in the next open space after that. Again, 2 more times, single crochet in the next space, and then 1 more time in the next space, single crochet twice. Now that brings us back here to the 6th row. And in the 6th row, I'm going to begin by single crocheting 5 times in that first open space. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then I'm going to single crochet right here into this first treble crochet. And I'm going to single crochet into the single chain space And then I'm going to single crochet one more time into this next treble stitch. Then I'm going to single crochet 5 times into the next open space. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I'm going to join. And I'm going to cut myself off a nice longish tail, maybe something like 8 inches or so, because I'm going to use that to sew this wing segment onto my square. And you'll need to make 3 more of these, and then we'll move on to making the square, which also includes the body of the dragonfly. Now for the square, which also includes the body of the dragonfly, I am using 2 yarns or 2 colorways simultaneously. So I'm going to start off with my background color, which is going to be this duck egg color. And I'm going to begin by making an adjustable ring. And then I'm going to chain 1. And then I'm going to single crochet 3 times. Now I'm not going to follow through with my 3rd stitch because this is where I'm going to change colors. And for those of you who don't have any experience with changing colors, basically in order to bring in a new color or change a color, you want to bring your previous stitch right up to the very last step of completion. So making a single crochet, my last step of completion would be a yarn over, and I would pull that through and complete my stitch. But because I want to change my color, I'm going to now bring in my new color, and I'm going to use that new color as my last step of the stitch. And then I'm going to begin the next stitch. Now the next stitch for this is going to be a 4 single crochet popcorn. And how I make that is I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to make 4 single crochets. So I'm going to single crochet 4 times. Just like that. And then I'm going to use my hook and I'm going to insert it into the first of the 4 stitches that I just made. And then I'm going to grab onto this last loop that I had left. I'm going to pull that on through, just like so. And that will be the popcorn stitch. So you can see it's kind of puffy. And then what I'm going to do is this is where I'm going to change colors again. And so I want to change colors, but with my next chain 1. So I'm just making my chain 1 now. And you're going to want to adjust your adjustable ring as you go along a little bit. So now my work looks like this. And then next I am going to make a single crochet 3 times. So 1, 2, and 3. And again, I'm going to change my colors. So I don't want to follow through on the last of that stitch. I'm changing colors. And then I'm going to make another 4 single crochet popcorn. So that's going to be a 1, 2, 3, and 4. Remove my hook and reinsert it back into that first of the 4 single crochets. I'm going to grab onto that loop. I'm going to pull that loop through. And that's the completion of my second popcorn stitch on this round. And then while I'm working on that, I'm going to sit here. I'm going to pull my adjustable ring, close tight. So I have a nice solid connection between my popcorn stitches. Now I want to change colors, and I am going to be making a chain with my new color. So that's basically my chain. I'm going to join into the very first stitch. I know it's a little hard to see with all these loose ends in the way because I oftentimes work my ends in as I'm working along my piece. Okay, so now that I've joined, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to chain 1. And then I'm going to do 3 increases. So basically in the same stitch, I'm going to single crochet once and single crochet twice into the same stitch. And then the next stitch, which is an increase. And for those of you who are new to the terminology, that is going to mean 2 single crochets, because I'm working with single crochets, into the next stitch. And then I want 1 more increase into that 3rd stitch. So that's going to be 1 and then 2. Oops, there we go. I'm going to be changing colors, so I didn't want to follow through in that last stitch. So now I'm going to change colors. And what I'm going to do is right here into this stitch right here on the popcorn, I'm going to go ahead and I am going to make a 5 single crochet popcorn. So basically I'm going to place 5 single crochets into this popcorn stitch right here at the back. Now 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And just as before, I'm going to remove my hook from the left hand side and I'm going to reinsert it into that very first stitch of my 5 single crochets. I'm going to pull that loop through, and now I have the next segment of my dragonfly completed. And I'm going to change colors. Making a chain 1 with the new color. And then I'm going to place an increase in the next 3 stitches. So I'm going to have 1 increase, which is 2 single crochets in the same stitch. And then my next increase. And then my 3rd increase. And then I'm going to change colors again. Now I'm working on the lower end of the body. And so in this end, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a 3 single crochet popcorn stitch. So now I'm going to make my 3 single crochets. 1, 2, and 3. I'm going to go ahead and insert my hook into that first of the 3. And I'm going to complete my popcorn stitch. And then I'm going to change colors, get my chain. Next, I'm going to join. Now that I've completed round 2, I'm going to have a total of 12 single crochets in the duck egg colorway, and then a popcorn stitch on either end of my work. So this is going to be a 5 single crochet popcorn stitch, and on the bottom end is going to be a 3 single crochet popcorn stitch. Now I'm going to move on to my round 3, and for round 3 I'm going to chain 1, And then I'm going to follow the pattern of a single crochet and then an increase in the stitch after that. I'm going to do that 3 times. So a single crochet in the same stitch as the chain 1, and then an increase. A single crochet, and then an increase. And then I'm going to do the pattern one more time, a single crochet, and then an increase. Now don't forget to always work your free yarn right into the middle of those single crochets so that it doesn't show. It just works itself right into your piece. Now I'm going to change colors. And in the next popcorn stitch, I am going to make a 6 single crochet popcorn stitch. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. I'm going to make my popcorn stitch. I'm going to change colors and chain 1. So now that I've completed my popcorn stitch, I am going to pick up and do the previous pattern 3 more times. And just a quick note, when the popcorn stitches start getting bigger, you need to be careful and make sure, because sometimes this popcorn stitch will cover your next stitch and you'll miss it by accident. So just make sure it's not doing that. We're going to begin with the pattern, and that's going to be 1, and then an increase. A single crochet, and then an increase. Then a single crochet, and then an increase. Which brings us back to my next popcorn stitch. And then for this popcorn stitch, I'm going to do a 3 single crochet popcorn stitch. So I've got the 1, 2, and then 3. Again, I'm going to switch over to my duck egg while making sure I've got my chain 1. Then I'm going to join and that'll be the completion of round 3. So you can already see the dragonfly taking shape. Now next for round 4, I'm going to begin round 4 with a chain 1. And I'm going to follow this next pattern 3 times. So it's going to be a single crochet twice and then an increase. So in the same stitch, I'm going to have a single crochet, and then in the stitch after that, a single crochet. And then in the stitch after that, an increase. So that's the completion of the pattern. I'm going to repeat that pattern twice. Single crochet, and then an increase. And then I'm going to do it one more time. Single crochet, a single crochet, and then an increase. I'm going to move on to the next segment of my dragonfly with a popcorn stitch. So I'm going to change colors. And for this popcorn stitch, I want to single crochet 7. So again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And go ahead and complete my popcorn stitch. And then I'm going to change colors and make a single crochet. And then I'm going to pick up on my pattern again, which is going to be the single crochet 2 times and then an increase. I'm going to do that 3 times. So 1, 2, and then the increase. 1, 2, and then the increase. And then 1, 2, and the last increase for this round. And I'm going to change colors again. And I'm going to make a 3 single crochet popcorn. So 1, 2, and 3. Next, I'm going to change colors, and I'm going to use my new color to make a chain. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to join. And now I'm ready to chain 1, my first stitch for round 5. And then, so the next pattern I'm going to follow 3 times is going to be single crochet 3 and then an increase. So in the same stitch, I'm going to place my first single crochet, and then my next single crochet, and my third single crochet, and then next I'm going to place my increase 1, 2. Then again, 3 single crochets, and then an increase. And then one more time, 3 single crochets, and then an increase. Then I'm going to switch colors. Now, in this popcorn stitch, I'm simply going to single crochet 3 times. So 1, 2, and 3. And I'm going to change colors. And then I'm going to continue the previous pattern 3 times. So 1, 2, 3, and an increase. You can do that 2 more times. Next, I'm going to change colors. I'm going to do a 3 single crochet popcorn stitch. I'm going to change colors again and make my chain with the new color. Then I'm going to join. And now I've completed round 5. So you can see that my work looks a little poochy, almost like a bowl. Don't worry about it. We will address that now. Show you as we go along what to do and how to make that flatten out, and then to add additional dimension to the body of my dragonfly. So now for round 6, I am going to go ahead, I'm going to chain 1, and then I'm going to follow the pattern of making a single crochet 4 times and then an increase. I'm going to do that 3 times. So in the same stitch, I'm going to begin with my first single crochet. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then an increase. Again, 2 more times. 1. And then I'm going to change colors. Now, you can see here I've got the 3 chains in the Grand Canal colorway. And in that first chain, or that first single crochet rather, I am going to make a 5 single crochet popcorn. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I'm going to go ahead and make my popcorn. Then in the next stitch, I'm going to single crochet. And then in the stitch after that, I'm going to make another 5 single crochet popcorn. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So now you can see I have the head of my dragonfly completed. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to change colors. And this also makes my chain 1. And then I'm going to complete the pattern that we were doing previously. So I'm going to single crochet 4 times. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then increase. And again. Then I'm going to change colors. And I'm going to make a 3 single crochet popcorn. So 1, 2, and 3. It can get a little tight in there, but that's okay. Actually, in this case, being a little tight in those popcorn stitches is not really a bad thing. So I've completed my stitch. I'm going to change colors, giving myself my next chain 1 that I need. Now, because I've completed my head, and the next couple of rounds, I'm going to continue lengthening the tail end of my dragonfly, I'm just going to basically leave this yarn hanging towards the back because I don't need to follow it around anymore. So I'm just going to let that hang. I'm going to pick up my duck egg colorway. I'm going to join, and that will be the completion of round 6. Now for round 7, I'm going to begin by making a chain 1 in that same join space. And then I'm going to follow the pattern of single crochet 5 and then an increase. I'm going to do that 3 times. So I'm going to begin in the same stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then an increase. And do it 2 more times. Now that I've completed the pattern 3 times, I am then going to skip these next 3 stitches. Basically, they comprise of the front of the dragonfly's head. And I'm going to pick up in the next duck egg colored stitch, the next single crochet. On the other side of those skip 3 stitches. And then I'm going to start the pattern all over again. The single crochet 5 plus an increase. 2, 3, 4, 5, and then increase. I'm going to do that 2 more times. Now this is where I'm going to pick up and change colors again, because I'm still working on the length of my tail. I've changed my color, and now I'm going to do my 3 single crochet popcorn. I'm going to bring in my new color, which makes my chain 1. And then I'm going to join. And then I'm going to move on to round 8. Now for round 8, again, I'm going to begin with a chain 1, and then I'm going to follow this next pattern 6 times. And the pattern is going to be a single crochet 6 and then an increase. So that you want to repeat 6 times. I'm going to begin in the same stitch as usual. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then an increase. I'm going to do that 5 more times, and I'm going to meet you right back here towards the end of round 8. Okay, so now that we're back around to the base of the tail again, I'm going to go ahead and again, I'm going to make a 3 single crochet popcorn stitch. So obviously I changed colors. Once I've got my stitch made, I'm going to change colors and make my chain 1. And then I'm going to join. And that is the completion of round 8. Now I'm going to start round 9. And for round 9, I'm going to begin with our chain 1. And then this time I'm going to do the pattern of single crochet 7 plus an increase. And I'm going to do that pattern 6 times. So again, start right here, the very same stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, and then an increase. 1, 2. Now I'm going to change colors. And I'm going to do a 3 single crochet popcorn. Change colors. and make my chain. Now this is the last of the segments I'm making for this dragonfly, so I can cut this off, cut this tail off. But what I want to do is I want to leave myself, I don't know, 8-10 inch, because I'm going to use this for a little bit of sewing on the back. So don't weave this or work this into your piece just yet. And then I'm going to join. I'm going to start round 10, and for round 10 I'm going to chain 1, and then I'm going to follow the pattern of single crocheting 8 and then an increase. I'm going to do that 6 times all the way around, and then I'm going to join. So again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then an increase. And do that 5 more times. And my last increase. And then this time I'm going to not change colors. I'm going to skip this popcorn stitch, and I'm going to go ahead and join. And that is the completion of round 10. So now moving on to round 11, I'm going to start by making a chain 1. And then beginning, I'm going to single crochet in the same stitch. And then I'm going to single crochet 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So that should be a total of 9 single crochets so far. Next, I'm going to half double crochet. And then I'm going to double crochet. And then I'm going to place 3 treble crochets into the next stitch. So that'll be 1, 2, and 3 trebles. Next, I want to place a treble crochet in the stitch after that. Then I want to do a double crochet 2 times. So 1, and then the next stitch, 2. Next, I want to do a half double crochet twice. So a half double crochet once, and then in the next stitch, another half double crochet. And then I want to do a single crochet 2 times. So single crochet in one stitch, and then a single crochet in the very next stitch. Then I want to, in the stitch after that, I want to make a slip stitch. Next, I'm going to single crochet in the next stitch, and I'm going to single crochet in the stitch after that. After that, I want to half double crochet twice. So in the first stitch, and then the half double crochet again in the second stitch. Then I want to double crochet twice. So my first double crochet in the next stitch, and then another double crochet in the stitch after that. In the next stitch, I want to do a treble. And then in the stitch after that, I want to do 3 trebles. So I've got the 1, 2, and then 3 in the same stitch. Next, I want to do a double crochet. And then I want to do a half double crochet. And then I want to single crochet 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So then next, after I've completed that, I'm going to do my next stitch is going to be a half double crochet. And then the stitch after that is going to be a double crochet. And then the next stitch, I'm going to place 3 trebles into that same stitch. So 1, 2, and 3. And then a treble in the next stitch after that. Next, a double crochet, and then a double crochet. Then a half double crochet, and then next another half double crochet, then a single crochet, next another single crochet. Then in the stitch after that, a slip stitch. Then a single crochet, and then next a single crochet. And then next a half double crochet, and then next a half double crochet. And then next a double crochet, and then next another double crochet. Then our next stitch is going to be a treble crochet. And then in the stitch after that, I am going to place 3 treble crochets. Two and 3. The next stitch is going to be a double crochet, and then the stitch after that is going to be a half double crochet, and then we're going to join. So my piece looks something like this so far, and if you're crocheting along with me, yours should too. And your work should end up with approximately 17 stitches from corner to corner, all the way around. So from this middle treble crochet to the next middle treble crochet in the 3 treble crochet clusters should be a total of 17 stitches. So now at this point, I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to fasten off, and I'm going to weave in my end. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring back the original color that I used for the body of my dragonfly. Now you might use a different color. It's entirely up to you. But the 3 colors I chose to use today are the 3 colors I'm using. You might decide to do different colors, and that is perfectly perfect. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to tie this in. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to single crochet in each stitch, except when I get to the corner stitch right here, this treble crochet that sits in the middle of the other 2 trebles in the same stitch. And in that stitch, I'm going to single crochet 3. So I'm going to begin by making a single crochet in that same stitch that I tied into. And then I'm going to just single crochet each stitch until I get to that corner stitch. And then when I get around to the corner stitch, I'm going to place 3 single crochets. And then I'm going to continue to make a single crochet in each of the next stitches until I get to the next corner, at which time I'm going to place 3 single crochets again into that corner stitch. And then when I've completed round 12, I'm going to fasten off this color, and I'm going to move on and show you what to do next. All right, so I've finished the border and I've woven in that end, and this is what my square looks like so far. Not so much quite like a square, but we're going to remedy that here in just a moment. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn my work over, and I've already threaded the needle on that length of yarn I previously told you put aside so that we can continue to finish this. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to work kind of a blanket stitch. And so I'm going to pick up a little bit of each stitch on the side, on either side of the back of this dragonfly, and I'm going to close that fabric around. So I'll show you what that does here in just a minute. I'm just going to go ahead and pick that up. So you can see how that's starting to close that fabric around. And what that's going to do is that's going to pinch this fabric together, but you want to get, or rather pick up the stitches just on either side of the dragonfly's body. You don't want to go in any further than that. So just here where the duck egg color is at, just on the edge of the dragonfly body. And as you can see on this side, as we do that, it starts pinching that fabric shut. And when that fabric is pinched all the way down, your square will then lay flat. So I'm going to continue to do that on mine, and I will see you right back here in about 2 seconds. So now once I've sewn it on, and it's to my satisfaction, and this gives you an idea of what the back looks like. So it's really quite clean. And now's the time to sew on the wings. And so what I'm going to do next is I'm going to decide where I want my wings to sit. And then I'm just simply going to use the tail that I left for sewing to sew them on. Now, if it hangs over the edge a little bit, your wings in some parts, they're going to. That's perfectly okay. In fact, it adds to the interest and the dimension of the piece. I personally like it. I personally designed it that way so that when I have my squares together, there'll just be a little bit of overlapping. So it'll just add that little extra something to the three-dimensional appearance that's going on already. So let me get my wings sewed on, and I will show you what that looks like when it's finished. And then now after everything is sewn on, this is what you can expect your square to look like. Just like to thank you for sticking it out with me for another full tutorial. And so until we meet again, stay creative, stay amazing, and above all, always weave your own Wyrd. Bye-bye now. Have a great week.